Regardless of your experience level, if you've been involved in the market this year, you got to be momentum trading. It's been one of the most profitable, if not the most profitable trading strategies this year. New traders, listen up, because it's also a difficult skill to master, guys. So we're going to focus on new traders here and talk momentum trading strategies that you can get started with.
Absolutely, and I think one of the first things for momentum trading is picking a direction that it's going to go, because the whole idea behind momentum is that you're not really range trading. You're trading things that are breaking the range, continuing to go, that are outpacing the market, that are churning through, that are going parabolic. So I'll use an example of one that's doing that today, and not necessarily about the trades that I had on it, because quite frankly, what I'm going to show you is how it could have been a little bit better for me using a very simplistic strategy. So first things first, there was a catalyst here, and NVIDIA did have earnings, and yes, it did gap down. But you'll see in the morning, all you see is 165 bottom at about 6 a.m. and then about 7 a.m. a 166 bottom, and then by the time you get to about 9 o'clock, you're holding support at about 166.5. So you're getting a series of higher lows, and it's continuously breaking out of these consolidations. And by the time you get to the open, and I'll zoom in here, all you see is another higher low and instantly a breakout. So you've already got a stock which is clearly trending up by any measure that you would have. And then that first move on volume, when the market comes in, you'll see it make a fresh high, put in that high at about 171.50, and then dip back in. And it goes down to about 169.70. I've drawn the line here. And this is where you can start doing a very simplistic style strategy, where it's established a bit of a range for you. And that is just look at the next time it breaks that high, or it tests that high, rejects it at 172, and then holds above this 169, and matter of fact holds at 170. Once it's done that, now, okay, fine, I was buying a dip in there, but let's go with a simpler strategy, which is just the next breakout. Breakout of that 172, after it's held that higher low, that's why you like the breakout, and then you see it just go right to the upside to almost a 175, so 72 to 75, pretty much clean, and then you get the next consolidation. It rejects 175, pulls back, holds this line here. The first time it rejects, it holds 174, it holds it again. The next breakout is then valid at 175, and then you see how cleanly it runs to the upside. So what you're essentially doing is taking the break, waiting for that first real pullback. When it does so off that even 175, or the second pullback, you then see, does it hold that initial candle? Whether it's a 3 or 5 minute, it does. That makes the next breakout valid to the next stop, and then you see it continue to go. Now, I didn't even use that for re-entry points. I'm telling you what I could have done to still be buying that one when it broke 175. It's a relatively simple strategy that can get you involved in a trend to the upside, as opposed to just sitting there watching it, figuring how can I buy it higher if I don't have it out. Well, this gives you an opportunity when it consolidates or pulls back on how you can get in the next break.
Yeah, I think momentum has been so important, and I mean, NVIDIA today, I mean, a lot of the time you're gonna have to have catalysts as well, earnings, things like that, to try to figure out like what stock is going to have momentum, if any, and then once you're looking at that name, then you can hit it out of the park. Meta today, no earnings, no nothing, but we've noticed patterns, and I think pattern recognition obviously is something that you wanna look out for as well. So forget about what happened today, but look at the last 2 days, right? So you're gonna have Meta right here, right? This is the open 2 days ago. Big move to the upside, right? And then yesterday, Meta off the open, big move to the upside and kept going. Look at the continuation. And then you have today, big time movement to the upside again. That's 3 straight days with Meta starting to blow everything up, right? So what I look at when I'm looking at something to say, hey, is there going to be some kind of momentum? So we look at past patterns. So we had it there 3 days in a row, nice little upside moves. And what we were looking at was a few things. One, the break of a pre-market high rate here, 165.50. But let things base down. And this is what I wanted to show you about momentum. We were already looking at Meta today. And I don't have my trades on, but you're gonna see them in a minute. Look at it, try to develop a base here, right? And then all of a sudden, if you're gonna say to yourself, I want to be long this name like Neil was saying, so where do I get in, right? The first thing to look for would be that momentum play. Go the right way. Well, I'm not going to wait for momentum to go to the downside. We've just seen it 2 or 3 days in a row go to the upside, so I'm only looking long. So the key for me was, a pre-market break here of 165.50. We actually, on our sticky note, because we were already looking at this pre-market, we had 166, just an even dollar level looking for it. So what we started to do was build our positions down here, waiting for, and quite frankly, hoping. I mean, we don't know if the market's going to take off one way or the other, but we do know that if it does start to go to the upside, we want to meta long on a break because we've seen continuation before. So let me turn on now the fills that we got. So if you're going to see here for meta today, I mean, I could have used Alibaba. There's a few different names, but look what we started to do. The first break right there that we took early at 940 was because we based out there, and I thought to myself, hey, 164, 165 bottom here is potentially going to be the bottom. So when we had a pre-market break there, we went long. But then look, it fell right back in to this area of the base support. So then we got long again, and then all of a sudden, once we were right, it took off to the upside. You can't see, but I have a tick right here as well. This is actually the biggest trade, a 166 break, and then it just started to get excited to the upside where we took this all the way out at 168. So this fill down here is 164, 165, 168, a bunch of outs up here at 167.50 as well. So definitely paying attention to pattern recognition, Brendan, and then waiting for these bases to develop, and then, hey, look, the market tanks, you get out at 164, taking about $1 or so hit. Market rips like it did, and you can get rewarded because you're on a name that has momentum.
The fact that with momentum, you can let the market come to you on the way out and not have to, be sitting there aggressively punching out of your position. That's the key to momentum. Being patient, even though momentum itself kind of provide some urgency in the trades. There we go. A couple of great looks at how to approach momentum trading in 2022.